Hey everyone, it is the week of Christmas and I want to share with you some of my favorite Christmas books to read around this time. Some of them are new to me and some of them I've read in the past that I would highly recommend. This book has such happy memories for me. It's Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. This is the book that Christmas with the Cranks is based off of. I read this in high school. It was finals week, and if you had an A in the class, you didn't have to take the final. So there were several classes, maybe all of them, I don't remember, that I didn't have to take the final in, and I just read this for an entire day, going to each class, sitting down, eating candy canes, and reading this book. So it's really happy. And then as I became an adult, I started reading it every year, and I've pretty much read this almost every year since then. It's just such a fun, quick read, and it's one of my favorite movies too. So last winter break, I read these books, The Winter Street by Ellen Hildebrand. This was my first time reading her as an author, and I loved it so much. I think there are 4 in the series. I got them again from the library this year because I read them so fast last Christmas break, one a day. There were 4, one a day. I read them so fast that I don't even remember what they're about, but I remember thinking they were really great, and they reminded me of Chesapeake Shores, which is that Hallmark drama that I think is fun, but that takes place kind of around summer and fall. This is winter, and it was a really good story. So I told my sister about it, and she's reading them now, and they're just fun, quick reads. She surprised me. I know that she's written a lot of stuff, and sometimes when authors write a lot of things, I think like, that are they good? Like, is it any good? And she's a really good writer. So I have started reading her this year, and there is a book that I read this year of hers that is one of my favorites of the whole year. And I'm going to share that in another video, my favorites of 2025. Today, I've been reading It's the Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I started it 2 days ago, and I just flew through it. This book was so good. It's really well written. I wish that I owned it. I got it from the library, but there were so many good quotes in here. She's such a good writer that I wish I had owned it so I could have underlined everything. And some of them I wrote in my journal because it was so good. And so I might be buying this one so I can read it again next year. I don't read a lot of crime novels. That's not fun for me. I have a really hard time separating reality from fiction. So even when we're watching movies as a family, when people die, I'm just like, that's so sad. And my family's like, it's just a movie. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like in my head. But anyway, so this really wasn't about that. It wasn't a scary mystery, but it certainly was compelling. It was so good. And she's a really good writer. And it was a love story. And his love for her was so sweet. And I enjoyed it very much. So highly recommend this one. Probably my favorite in all that I'm sharing with you today. I discovered Jenny Bayliss a couple years ago, and I think I read this one first, and it was okay. And then I read this one, really liked it. I remember scenes from this book, A Season of Second Chances. It was so beautiful, the scenery in this book. And then I started reading this year, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I'm actually not finished with it yet, but I'm going to finish this. It's not the kind of book I couldn't put down, but it's still fun. And then my sister told me about this one of hers, and she said it was her first. So this might be her first book, The 12 Days of Christmas. My sister said she loved it, and that there were a lot of fun food scenes, and that she wished she could have tried all the food and had all of the drinks. And so I'm actually starting this as soon as I'm done making this video, because I'm really excited about it. And it's also a mini series, I think, on Hallmark. I don't get the Hallmark channel, which is so sad. It's such a tragedy. But at some point, maybe at my mom's, I'll be able to watch this. And yeah, I think it's a mini series and not just a movie. But it sounds like fun. Yay. My favorite Christmas scene of all time in any book is in Little House in the Big Woods. So I think about this book all the time, and I compare my life to this book all the time. So when we're starting to get a little ungrateful or anything, this is what I start thinking about. Like for Christmas, one kid got the big toy, and it was the doll, and so she got the doll that year. And then they all of the rest of them just got a candy cane and mittens, and they were happy with that. They were just excited for Christmas, for the idea of it, for celebrating it for what it is. I think about this story a lot. I just think this is such a great book, and I read it even as an adult. So yes, Little House in the Big Woods, one of my favorites. I got this book last year in January, and then realized it takes place at Christmas. and that's fine. But I couldn't read any Christmas books in January because I wanted to read Christmas books at Christmas time. So I saved it for this year. So I'm going to be reading this week. The Book Club Hotel sounds delightful. This is by Sarah Morgan. If you're looking for good winter books, these definitely can still go for winter. I mean, some of it takes place at Christmas, but if you do like a mystery, which again, I haven't read a lot of them, Ruth Ware has a really good one. I think it's called One by One, and it takes place at a ski village, and there is a murder, but I don't really know who it is. Like, it's not like it's a main character. It just happens and they have to solve this mystery, and that was pretty good. So Ruth Ware is a really good mystery writer. And then another one of my favorite Christmas books of all time, and I've read this over and over again, especially with my kids, is the Sweet Valley Kids Trapped in Toyland. This book was so fun. They get stuck at the mall because they fall asleep in the beds, and like one of the parents thinks that they have the kids and the other parent thinks they have the kids, and they are stuck in the mall, and then they have the whole mall to themselves for a night, and they solve a mystery, and they get to eat at the food court, and they get to drive these little cars around. This is the best story. So if you're looking for a good book to read with your kids, this is a good one. Okay, these are my reads for right now, my Christmas reads that are happening this week and that I've read in the past, because it's so much fun. Okay, I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Be looking for my next videos, because I'm going to be making some about my favorite books of 2025, what I'm going to be reading in 2026, and what my favorite books are of all time. Goodbye.